So welcome everybody. Tonight we are having a synopsis of soul contract reading with Valerie Wash. And any questions that you have, pop them in the chat box, and we'll stop for questions when it's good for Valerie. Take notes as we go along, and I'll hand it over to you, Val.
Hi everyone, so I'm Valerie. As you can see on the title of the presentation, I've put another name. So there's my name, Valerie Wash, that's my birth name. I've also put my optimized name, and that's something we're going to discuss also today.
Really sorry to interrupt. Could you put it on full screen, your presentation, rather
so I've realized that my presentation is actually on my other screen here, so I might have to just...
Oh, well, don't worry if you can't do it. Don't worry.
Not sure because it's going on the other screen. Suddenly the technical aspect is baffling me. Is it okay? Yeah. Can everyone see? If someone can wave? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. Thank you. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the presentation bit. Never mind. Okay. So soul contract reading. 3 main parts. Just a little bit of history to start with. Then we're going to go through all the numbers / letters because they're the same thing really. And then I'm going to discuss all the benefits and the applications of a soul contract reading for yourself and your business as well. So it's a system of numerology. I'm pretty sure you all understood this from I guess the description that I said. I'm trying to move you so that I can see some of you over there. So numerology, it's based on ancient Hebrew. It's only been available for a few years really, because it was channeled in the 80s by Frank Alper. He's now died, unfortunately, but he's trained the person who trained me, Nicholas David Nunn. I'm pretty sure some of you know him. He did a talk on Gaia. He's got a best-selling book called Your Soul Contract Decoded. You can buy it. You can have it on your Kindle. Yeah, so I was trained by Nicholas, and we tend to think that Frank is the dad, and we are his children and grandchildren, really. This numerology system is based on the 22 characters of the Hebrew alphabet, and it's also represented on the 6-pointed star, which is also known as the Star of David, obviously. I've said it the other time, in Hebrew, symbols, letters and number, they're the same. So they hold a sound, they hold a vibration. And that's why when I do talk about the soul contract reading, I talk about numbers, because they're a bit easier for people to remember, because the Hebrew letters, the V, the U, the W are the same. So it's not always easy for people to relate to them. And the only concept that's a little bit woo-woo is that, and I'm sure you'll all be fine with it, really, is that your soul has chosen this physical body, your physical body, to incarnate in this lifetime. And by choosing a name, the soul will choose a frequency that will create your soul contract. And your soul contract is the experience that you live in your lifetime, in this incarnation. And the name is usually telepathed to the mother in true Hebrew style, where the woman has more of a power. So that's what it is, really. So that's my chart. So it might be very small for you to see on the screen. I'm not too sure, but you can see, I really wanted to show this because you can see that my name is, because I'm French, it's done with phonetics. So it can be a bit tricky when you have a non-English name. I've said on the chat before the talk that if you have a name of Indian origin, it's fine. We can put it directly on the software. It should work. Japanese name also, if we got the katakana spelling, is fine. Most of the other languages have to be done manually by someone who's been trained like me with the phonetic aspect of it. But even if you don't have the phonetic spelling of your name, if you live in England and put it on the software, you will get some numbers that do resonate with you. So you could always try if you want to. I'm not going to explain how the numbers go on the chart because I'm not sure it's very interesting for you. You can see that there's two triangles. The triangle that goes up is the spiritual aspect. The one that goes down is the physical aspect. I've highlighted the physical one in red and the other one in blue. And you can see that the sum of the numbers equal your soul destiny. If you have a short chart, which is only one triangle, you do not have a soul destiny, but your soul destiny will be your goals, the equivalent to your goals. And if you have more than 3 times the same number, you will have a dominant vibration. And what it means is that it's the number that you really must experience in your lifetime. So it's going to be like a very dominant number in your life in this incarnation. So the letters, when I refer to the letters, I tend to refer to numbers more than letters. But like I said before, it's the same thing, really. So there's mother letters, double letters, and simple letters. They all come with different strengths, different attributes, different challenges. The 3 mother letters are the most important one. They're like, if you can imagine, the first out-breath of God created these 3 letters, and then the 3 letters next out-breath created the 7 double letters, and the 7 double letters, another out-breath from God, created the 12 simple letters. Most of the letters are linked to a planet. The double letters contain a polarity. We will discuss them later on, but polarities can be poverty to wealth. It can be ugliness to beauty. It can be anything. We'll see them later on. And the simple letters are linked to a star sign. So this is usually why we ask for the date of birth as well. But I've not necessarily put it on the system for the ones I've done quickly. But you know your star sign anyway, so so that should be fine. So I hope you're going to cope with it because there's 22 numbers, 22 letters. Hopefully you'll have some information that's interesting for you. Again, it's not a detailed reading. I'm just giving you a few pointers, a few keywords. They might be applicable to you. You might think, no, that doesn't resonate with me. It's fine because there's so much more to the numbers, but I just can't give all the information in just one talk. So these are the main karmic aspect and talent aspect of the numbers, of the 22 numbers. I've put the numbers, I've put the symbols, and I've also mentioned if it's a mother letter or a double letter, so that you can see that the mother letters and the double letters tend to have more strength, more power than the other ones. Except the exception of the 9, which is the strongest number, and it's a simple letter. There had to be an exception, really, has to be. So 1-1, I've hardly ever seen in a chart. So if you have one in your chart, well done, because we don't see them very often. They usually come more as a 10-1 and not really a 1-1. So if the one thing I didn't mention before, on on your chart, you have physical and spiritual, and you have karma, talent, and goals. The karma is the karma. It's your challenges. I'm sorry, there's no other way to word it. That's what it is. Your talent is what you're good at, your strength. And this is what's going to help you transmute your karma. Your goals are the lesson that you will learn from transmuting your karma through your talent, if that makes sense. And karma is 100% karma. Talent can be 15 to 20% karma, the rest is talent. Goals can be 30 to 70% karma. So that's why I've only covered karma and talent when I talk about the numbers, because if you have, say, 1-1 in a goal position, just listen. I mean, listen to both sides, listen to the karma, because it's going to be more karmic initially. And then once you've transmuted it through the help of your talent, it will become more of a talent. But this is part of the lessons in life that you have to experience, really. So in a karmic position, the 1-1 has misused power, or is misusing power. It could be in this lifetime, it could be in another life. Also a lot of inconsistency, fairly unreliable. Some manipulation, some greed, some selfishness. So not great, great attributes, but you know, we're not perfect. So to some extent, there's these numbers are present, and these vibrations are present with a lot of people. I don't know, when I see manipulation, I think politicians. So probably they probably do have ones in their chart somewhere. But when it's in a talent position, you're of service, you're full of integrity, very stable. If you look at the symbol, you can see that the more pressure you apply on the symbol, the more stable it becomes. And the 1 is also very good to inspire others and teach. 2-2 looks like a spring, symbol of. So it's also a double letter. That's the first thing I should say. So it's the lesson in this number is foolishness to wisdom. So foolish mistakes, stupid mistakes. Also rigid ideas, because the spring is not springy, it's very rigid. And also hypersensitive and insecure sometimes. And again, you know, it's sometimes, it can be, it doesn't have to be that way. However, in a talent position, you're very resilient to failure, because you've got this capacity to to be less rigid. You're very objective. You can see a situation from up there, from down there. You can adapt a lot, and you have a lot of common sense. You're not necessarily the smartest academically, but you have a lot of common sense, which is a nice attribute, I think. 3 is a double letter again, poverty to wealth. In karmic position, it's poor communication. So if you look at the symbol, you can imagine the ear canal. Initially, it's blocked. There's no information flowing through. But then when it becomes a talent, then you're great at communicating, because the canal is open for communication. Karmic position, people are very shy when they have a 3. They underestimate their own abilities, and they find it hard to make a profit and to make money, and that's due to the poverty to wealth. I can't find my word, but I think you've got polarity. Thank you. In a talent position, great ease in communication, very good orators, very good at training, teaching, mentoring, and very good at making money as well. So if you have 3 in a goal position, your lesson is to learn how to spend wisely and to communicate properly. 4 is also a double letter, barren to fruitful. The symbol is really the flow of abundance, the flow of nature. You can duplicate to the infinite with this number. In a karmic position, you're self-centered and you can push people away. You create shortages of money, shortages of feelings, shortages of love, shortages of everything. Low self-esteem because you don't trust in the flow of abundance. But when you've got this in a talent position, then you duplicate the flow of abundance, and for everything, for love, for money, for emotions, everything. You have a strong belief in yourself. You're highly intelligent, very, very clever number, and good at making money, which is always nice in this day and age, you know. Wish we could live off water, fresh water, and love, but a bit of money is also nice sometimes. 5-5 is very much like a fetus, a kind of a transforming number. When it's in a karmic position, you're unfocused, very unfocused, easily distracted, head in the clouds. Also quite stubborn because it's linked to the Aries sign, so it can be quite stubborn. And initially in a karmic position, afraid of speaking your truth, speaking the truth. So it can be a bit of a liar. In a talent position, very assertive, headstrong, courageous, innovator, a very pioneering energy, and also very sensitive, but sensitive in a good way. Not sensitive, not hypersensitive. That's going to be a problem, but sensitive to vibrations. 6 is a very creative number. So when it's in a karmic position, you're very isolated. You tend to have addicted behaviors, and by addicted behaviors, I mean it can be one or it can be all of them. So it could be alcohol, cigarette, drugs, sex, gambling, everything, or just one of them. Easily frustrated because they're ungrounded. However, in a talent position, extremely creative. So most artists have either a 6 or a 9 in their chart, or a couple of them. So extremely creative, very focused, very strong-willed, and very discerning. I hope I'm not going too fast. You know, do things like this and wave if I'm too quick. 7-7. This is the link, the missing link. You can see they're intertwined together. In a karmic position, people are two-faced or hiding away, controlling and undecisive. In a talent position, you're very good at networking. You're a people magnet. You're very decisive and charismatic, and you have a very logical mind. Actors tend to have 7-7 in their chart because they're very good at hiding their personalities and creating new personalities. Slightly schizophrenic tendencies, but when pushed extremely. But in a talent position, great people magnet. 8-8 in a karmic position. So the 8-8 looks like an amoeba. So it's very adaptable, but initially it's ungrounded. Finds it really hard to relate to others and tend to relate better with animals than humans. Emotionally quite closed, not open to feelings, refuse to feel feelings, stubborn, and can have a tendency to have unhealthy boundaries with people. In a talent position, you're grounded, you're in touch with reality, you're a people person because you adapt. And you're also clairvoyant, and not just clairvoyant, but clairsentient, claircognizant, you know, the list of clairs that you've probably learned from Suzanne or someone else. So that's the 8. The 9 is the dragon. So it's the strongest number of this numerology system. In a karmic position, it's abuse of power in this lifetime or another. Vanity, pride, and also a lot of disempowerment because you listen to others too much. So if you have a 9 in a karmic position or in the gold position, chances are you've been maybe not bullied, but you've been not always treated nicely by people. However, in the talent position, it's very powerful, extremely intuitive, very creative as well, and fearless, and also a great peacemaker. So it's a great addition to a chart, even though it's heavily charged as well. 10-1 is so it contains the one of the which is one of the mother numbers. One is the divine masculine. So 10-1 really represents a masculine energy. Karma is overcritical, very insecure, unreliable, inconsistent, and must work really hard to achieve anything. However, in a talent position, a lot of integrity, like we said before, with the number 1, and stability. Very intuitive, very analytical, and can relate to anyone. If you have a 10-1 in your chart, it's not infrequent that there is some issues with the male population in your life, regardless of where it is in the chart. It's a standard kind of, I mean, it does show up a lot. And it can be with partners, it could be with your dad or granddad, but it usually shows like this. 11-2 is a tough one because it's got 2 double letters. So there's 2 polarities. There's death to life, which is not great, really, and foolishness to wisdom, which is not that great either, but you don't always experience them. I've got 11-2 in my overlay, and I've experienced both sides of the 11 and the 2. So in a karmic position, you're rigid and insecure, you're dependent on others, and you find it difficult to learn new things, and you tend to lack structure. So you really need to find your own way of understanding and thinking before you can fully get the full picture. Which is why in the first place I said, you know, some people can read the triangle, some people prefer the table because of the initial lack of structure of the 11-2. In a talent position, you're very structured, very logical, very analytical, great at assimilating knowledge and new concepts very quickly, very resilient because of the 2, which is resilience of the 2, and very adaptable again because of the 2, or thanks to the 2. 12-3 contains a double letter, which is 3, poverty to wealth. So 12-3 in karma is very much out of balance in many aspects, usually workaholics, and people who do burn out do have 12-3 in their charts, or tend to have 12-3 in their charts. People who can't disconnect from what they're doing tend to have 12-3, and they also feel limited and restricted by the 12-3. Talent is the ability to expand anything that you do and that you try. You have a thirst of knowledge, you always want to learn new things, and it's very supportive and nurturing energy. (13-4), we discussed 10-1, which was the divine masculine. 13-4 is the divine feminine, thanks to number 13, which is a mother letter. In a karmic aspect, it comes with the neglecting the needs of others, being very selfish, lack of faith in yourself, and be self-indulgent. In a talent position, however, it's very feminine, nurturing energy, very goal achievement focused, with a strong belief in self. If you have 13-4 in a karmic or goal aspect of your chart, or even in the soul destiny, it probably means that you need to make peace with female gender, whether it's your mom, your sister, your grandma, or yourself as a mother. And another cat in the way. 14-5 is in a karmic position. The main thing that 14-5 really does is to create intense relationships. Can be quite manipulative, prone to emotional up and downs. In a talent position, great discernment, very adaptable, very pioneering due to the 5. If you look at the symbol of the 14, if you can imagine yourself, you're the little circle in the middle, you'll have, every time you'll face a relationship in your life, or you have a relationship in your life, it will put a mirror in front of you to learn yourself better. And then once you've learned this lesson, you can jump to the next hurdle. But the 14-5 is going to be hurdle after hurdle after hurdle, most likely, based on relationships and what you can experience and what you can learn from those relationships. Next is 15-6. 15-6 loves to get, so in a karmic position, loves to get involved in too many things at once. There's always something on the go, never stop, never stop, never stop. Restless and quite pessimistic sometimes. In a talent position, it's the same thing, but more positive, really. So seeking out new things all the time, very versatile and very optimistic. 16-7, in a karmic position, create conflict and lies. So lies because of the 7, you're not showing your true self, unwilling to move forward, very stuck, and they tend to be angry a lot. In a talent position, they're very charismatic, very authentic, and they are the real benefit of the 16-7 is to be able to turn, in plain English, the most complex concepts into something quite simple that everybody is going to be able to understand. (17-8), double letter, number 17, slavery to dominion. So abuse of powers as well. Again, in a karmic position, you're quite oppressed, you're an underachiever, and you won't listen and you won't show respect because of the slavery aspect of the number, really. In a talent position, you perform when given autonomy. So this is a number that we find a lot in people who are freelance. They need the autonomy, they need the freedom to be able to be themselves and do their work as they wish. Sensitive and excellent at reaching out to people, because the 17 is also a very subjective mouth that is very good at speaking to people. 18-9 is, so it's a strong number simply because of the 9, which is present in this combination. Karmic position, hard to finish a project, unable to make difficult decisions, and that sounds quite harsh, but destructive to self and or others. But again, it's not applicable to everyone, but it can be one of the aspect of the 18-9 in a karmic or goal position. As a talent, great decision making. It's the kind of people that you want in a business, really, very powerful. And it involves some sort of international travel. And I can't explain you why, but that's what it is. I guess it's because of you choose where to go from right to left. So I guess this is where the international travel comes. 19-1 in a karmic position is influenced by external opinion, also lack humility and a lot of self-judgment and some unworthiness, obviously. In a talent position, you hold the space for others, and that's really the cube with the arrows coming in there. Hold the space for others and all create a center of some sort, be of service, and have a great sense of humor. 19-1s tend to have a really fun sense of humor. 22, we have a double letter, 20, war to peace. In a karmic position, you create a lot of conflict within yourself and with other people. And you're quite unbalanced as well. In a talent position, you love to explore new things. You're a goal seeker. You're very objective. And of course, you don't create that much conflict. You try to avoid conflict, and you're good at sorting them out as well. 21-3, another mother letter, 21. combined with a double letter, poverty to wealth, number 3. So this is quite a strong one. In a karmic position, you tend to be lazy, lack of endurance, unable to take on big tasks. Everything seems to be, you know, the tiny little molehill will be seen like Mount Everest to someone who's got 21.3, and a big lack of motivation. In a talent position, a lot of inner strength, able to endure and overcome challenges regardless of their size, and take on massive projects. In a karmic, 20-4, the last one. I hope your brain still functions after all of these. 20-4, we have 2 double letters. So again, it's a difficult number. 22 is ugliness to beauty, 4 is barren to fruitful. So it's a tough combination. In a karmic position, especially a physical karmic position, we have destructive behavior to self and to others, greedy and overconfident, really not a great personality. However, what's hidden behind is very low self-esteem and lack of faith. 22 is, if you look at it, it's like the Holy Trinity, and when it's in a karmic position, there's no connection to God. You don't feel the connection to source. That's why you feel so disconnected and so low in self-esteem. However, in a talent position, they're great orators, holder of high standards, very creative energy as well, great business people because of the 4 and the duplication of abundance, and very intelligent. So maybe now would be a good time to come back to some numbers if you have questions, like specific questions that maybe you would like me to answer. If you do, you can unmute yourself.
So I've got a question. So when you did 15-6, that's my soul destiny. So is that a talent or a bit of both?
It's going to be a bit like a goal. So it's going to be a bit of both. But the more you go in life, the more it will become a talent. The more you transmute the experience.
Yeah, because I know from having my chart done that some of my numbers were difficult, but that I've managed to transmute some of them with my spiritual talents and life lessons I've learned. So putting it all together makes a much different picture than having the numbers all individually, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah. And each number has a different strength. So what we're looking for as well when I do a reading is to make sure that the number you have in your talent position is strong enough to tackle both karma and goal.
Yeah.
And it's not always the case. And if it's not the case, then I would advise a name optimization to make sure that we can.
And that that can sometimes be a really simple change, can't it? It doesn't have to be a whole name change.
It can be very simple, yeah.
Yeah. So Julia's asked.
Soul Destiny 6-6. So it's going to be a mix of.
Sorry, I meant 7-7.
I know that's I think Julia's.
No, there's Julia 6-6.
Sorry, Julie. It was me confusing things. So do Julia's first. I know Julia's got to go. So the 6-6. Sorry.
So the 6-6 in Soul Destiny will be like a goal. So to go through the lessons of either I don't know, creativity or lack of focus. So just to make sure that whatever karmic aspect you have experienced in your lifetime, you transmute into a positive aspect. So I don't know if it's the isolation, the frustration, the addictions, the fact that you're ungrounded, but it's the lesson that you must learn from the number.
And then the talents come into play when you've learned in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
The same applies for the 7 with Jilly. it's going to be a mix of the two, where you have where there's a lesson to be learned with either the fact that you're controlling or undecisive or hiding your true self, because I don't want to say that you're two-faced. That's not very nice, is it?
Hiding my true self.
Yes. Okay, so the lesson for you to learn is not to hide who you are and be proud of who you are and spread it to the world.
Yeah, 2020 did that.
There you go.
So any other questions, guys, about your charts?
Yes, please, but not for me.
Too shy.
My daughter is too shy to say. She did hers, and in the middle is life purpose 8-8. So what does that mean when it's in the middle?
It is in the middle.
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's your soul destiny. Life purpose is because she chose, so that on the system there's a spiritual way of doing your chart, which will go with karma, talent, and goals. And there's a 3D way, which is more easier for 3D people to approach when they're not spiritual. So that's what it is. The life purpose is the soul destiny.
Okay, so what does that mean then, 8-8? Is that, because that's on the chart there, but does that, when it's in the
so it's going to be the lesson for the that you have to learn from the 8. So whether it's you're closed emotionally, or you have unhealthy boundaries, or whether you're ungrounded, there can be others, obviously, but finding the one that needs to be transmuted into a talent. And once you've achieved that, then you've achieved your soul destiny. I mean, there's also more messages, but then that's a full reading.
Okay, thank you very much, Valerie. That's really useful.
Okay. Any other questions?
Valerie, if I remember correctly from when you were speaking, do you say that 8-8 is Claire everything, Claire Ascendant, Clairvoyant, Claire the lot?
Yeah.
That's quite funny.
I don't know who's talking, but why is it funny?
Because
you?
I'm Claire nothing.
You're Claire nothing.
Everything's shut. I feel it's very shut down at the moment. I've
Okay.
been sentient, but everything feels very shut down at the moment. So when
and is it in a talent position?
It's it's under soul destiny as
okay,
well as
soul
something.
Okay, so soul destiny is going to be like a goal aspect. So it's going to be 30 to 70% karma. So that's probably why it's still shut. It's because it's not been transmuted yet into a talent.
Okay.
And it can be developed.
Okay.
Julie?
What about the dominant vibrations?
So the dominant vibration, it means that your soul has chosen this number to be very, very prominent in your life. When I do a private reading, there is something called the word, which is a message from God to the person, which helps you to understand the lesson of the dominant vibration.
And how do you find the dominant vibration? Where is that?
You can have one, or you don't always have one. So if you have 3 or 4 of the same number, then you will have a dominant vibration, but you don't always have one.
Okay, so I've got 10-1 3 times in my chart. Does that mean it's 10-1 is dominant?
No, because so you would need it 4, because 10-1 is only 10 and 1. You would need 4 10s to have a dominant vibration. I couldn't remember if it was 3 or 4, but it's 4.
Well,
okay.
That's if you transmute, yeah. So if you make it a
Any more questions? I can see that there were questions on the chat, but I was not looking at them, but they've been.
Yeah, I think you've answered those ones actually.
Okay.
So and again, I've had my chart done, so I understand how it works and how you can grow from that. And then you've got the overlay of your married name, and that can sometimes make that more beneficial. Yeah.
So that's the next bit of the presentation. So if everybody's happy, I'm going to continue and
go for it.
Do this. So the benefit of the birth reading is to reveal to you the deepest soul truth. So this is why you were, you're born on earth. It can be a great relief sometimes because you're thinking, oh my God, I'm not mad. This is really what happened to my life and this is what was meant to be. So
Your mic's coming and going, Val.
oh, okay.
That's better.
Okay. I'm not moving anymore. So what I was saying is that sometimes it's a relief because you're thinking, gosh, I'm not crazy. This is really what's happened to me and it makes sense. It will reveal you the spiritual map of your life with your challenges, your talents and your goals. And with this tool, once you have your chart, it's very easy to focus the healing on the karmic aspects of your. Oh, someone was in the waiting room. Did you let? Okay. So it helps you align yourself to your soul destiny, really, and it's a lot easier to clear blockages with any type of healing modality. It could be Reiki, Rahani, divine healing, all sorts of healing, and it's very good, and it helps target the healing straight to where it's needed. Then there's the overlay reading. So your soul, you can understand that you live your life, but it's not you on your own, never. So your soul has chosen to set up contract with other souls, and that was planned before you knew it. And those contracts with other souls, they were and they are necessary for you to grow in this incarnation. So that will be part of your goals. So the birth chart, I always refer to it as a cake. So this is your dominant vibration. This is your core essence. And that's going to be it for your lifetime. However, there's overlays. So overlays are the impact of your own name change through marriage, through divorce, through change of deed pool. You can change your name, and that's going to be the icing on the cake. So it's going to flavor the cake slightly, but it's never going to change the cake. So the cake is always going to be the core essence. Your birth name will always be the core essence, and then you'll have overlays, and you can have plenty of overlays, and it will add some more energy and some more flavor to your birth chart. So overlays are used to understand your own change of names through marriage, through anything, but also the relationship with your friends, the relationship with your family, the relationship with your partners. And by relationship, I mean when there's a clash, when there's a resonance, and why you've met those people in your life. So when I look at an overlay reading, I've got a screenshot to show you. I look at resonance, I look at locks, and I look at clashes. So that's an example with me. So it's my birth name and two overlay names. For example, one of my overlay names is Valérie Wash in English, but it's also Valérie Wash in French. So it adds to the layers of icing. Let me see if I can annotate, actually, that might be easier. So, and that's with another person. So that's with a birth name and a common name of someone. So you can see that the 2 of my 11-2 and my 22 is a resonance with the 22 of this person. You can also see that there is a talent gateway where the 2s are going into the 2 of this person. There is also a clash, this 4 and this 4 clash. Let me clear that because it's, so this 4 here clashes with this one. So that's a goal clash. There is talent resonance here with the 4 of the 13-4 and the 4-4. There is a karmic, there is a karmic lock with the 9-9 and the 9. So the karmic locks, they're here, they explain why you have met this person, and there's a lesson to learn from the meeting this person and having interaction with this person. The talent resonance is when you have the same talent, physical talent or spiritual talent. So that's the reason why you get on with someone and you feel a connection. The karmic clashes are the reason why you get annoyed by people very deeply. The goal clashes also have an impact, but less than the karmic clashes. So if you look at yourself and maybe your partner in life, it's always good to check if there is a karmic clash. There will always be a lock or a resonance somewhere, but relationships can become difficult when there's a karmic clash, especially if it's a physical one. So that's really what I look at when I look at an overlay. I see the interaction with the numbers. I check if there's a clash. I check if there's locks, and that usually gives quite a lot of information to people. Don't know if you have any questions on this. I know it's not the easiest thing to look at to the untrained eye, but if you have any questions, let me know.
So I just popped out of the room. Did you answer Gilly's question about if you get divorced?
So what if you get divorced and you change your name? So
yeah,
it would be not advised not to revert back to your maiden name, even though you feel very strongly that this is who I am, because you'll be doing a step back into your progression in life. It would be beneficial to change your name to get altogether, but most people don't really do that. You know, when you get divorced, the first thing you want to do is to get rid of the name, possibly, depending on the circumstances, of course. But every divorce, every marriage will have an impact. So your birth name has an impact, your common name has an impact on your life. As you could see on the first, second slide, you know, my birth name is very long. I have a name and 3 middle names and a last name. So basically the vibration got lost in all those names. So this has an impact. Then I've used my name with a French sound, and then I've used my name with an English sound, and that's another overlay. And then I got married and I was with a French person, and I lived in England, so that was another layer of icing. And so it creates different layers, and there's always lessons and things that need to be learned with those different overlays.
So I kept the married name, but I pulled my maiden name back, so I double-barreled it.
Okay. So again, that's a complete different vibration altogether.
Yeah. That
will infuse into your birth name. And it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. So some numbers, they have no effect on each other. It's just neutral. Some have a good effect, some have a bad effect.
Okay, thank you.
So it would be a question of looking at the whole chart, wouldn't it, to see how
Yes.
optimal that is or not.
Yeah, and what I tend to do also when I do an overlay, if someone is interested, then that's something that usually comes up, the patterns in relationship with partners.
Yeah.
It's usually quite obvious that there is a pattern with men
I guess
or with women
if the lessons have not been realized, yeah.
Exactly. So for as long as the lessons have not been learned, you will reproduce the same type of relationships and you will attract the same type of people.
Yeah. Unless you've transcended it, of course.
Yeah.
Transmuted. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next slide, and we're nearing the end. I'm aware that I've been talking for quite a long time. Name optimization. So it could be your own name if you think your own name optimization. So if you think that your name is not optimal, or if you find that some of the harsh numbers that I've discussed, the 22-4, the 21-3, or even the 5 in a physical position, if you feel that they're hard and they're going to be a challenge to transmute, then we can look at a name optimization, where basically we set you wish for what you want to achieve with your new name. So it can be done through meditation, but also once you decide to have a name change, you'll be attracted to a name, or someone will call you a different name by mistake, or you will see repetitive names on, I don't know, the side of a van or on a billboard. And these are things that should be considered if you consider a name optimization. So name optimization is good for you. It's hidden within you. So your soul has chosen this path for you with a difficult name, knowing that there is a better name, an easier one in there for you once you've managed to transmute some of the karmic aspect of your numbers. So what I try to do is to really find the finished product within you, because it is within you. I'm not gonna create it. It's in you, and you're gonna find it. Baby naming is another type of name optimization. So it gives the opportunity to a child to have the best possible start in life, and avoid basically really difficult numbers if possible. I analyze the parents' wishes and ideas, and I make sure there's family harmony. I just want to check that there's no clashes that are created with the name, with the parents, nor with the siblings, because the last thing you need is kids fighting more than they would do naturally anyway. So let's try to, keep things civil. And it's also very applicable and very helpful for adoption. So if you manage to have the birth name of the child, you can work out the optimized name that you want to give the child that you adopt, if you do not want to keep the birth name, so that it fits in with your family. And again, it is within the soul of this child that this child was going to be abandoned, and that child was going to be adopted by another family. It's all in there. The soul has chosen this path in this incarnation. So it's a question of trying to ease the welcome into the family with this new name, with this transition. And then there's also the business name optimization. So the principle of optimizing your name and your birth name works exactly the same for businesses. The only difference is that your birth name will kind of dictate your business name, because we'll be looking at resonance of numbers, not necessarily talent resonance, but any number will have to appear in your business name, so that it will be the continuity of your birth name that you're going to put out to the world. So I look at registered name, trading name, website address, email address, pricing, and the first line of the registered address of the business. And if you're self-employed, it's going to be your home. And there's some numbers that we want to avoid: the 21-3 hardship, the 14-5 with the intense relationship. We want to avoid the 9s as well, with it's like having a dragon at the door, and you don't want that in the business, because you're going to scare people off. So yeah, so that's what it is. And that's an example of a business name optimization. So there's 11-2. Let me see if I can annotate. So there's the 11.2 that we find, and 11.2 and the 2 that we find in quite a few places. They are highlighted in blue. In red, there's the 10.1 that's also found in the business name and in the website. The 8.8 of the current name, that's in the business name, as well as the optimized email address. I forgot to highlight the 8 here and here. And the 7.7 that's present in a previous married name, in the current name, and in the business name. So this is really what I'm looking for when I do an optimization of a business name. I just want to make sure that the numbers of the birth name and of the current name of the overlay of the person are in line with the business, because you're the basis, you're the root of the business.
So for mine, just to say, because it's relevant here,
Mm-hmm.
we were getting together to do my business name and it just popped up, so I was able to get you to check it, and it was brilliant. So I was obviously really lucky that that all turned up at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And my address, because obviously some people are thinking, well, I can't change my address. I've added the house name that the house had when we moved in, but I've changed the spelling just very slightly, but it's gone back to Jasmine Cottage, and then that optimized the name again. So you can choose a house name and just start using it, can't you, without even registering it? You
Yeah,
can add a
definitely.
So
as long as that's what you present to people when you introduce the first line of your address, that's fine.
Yeah.
And in your case as well, if I may say, your birth name and your business name are going to help with your optimized name, because the numbers that we have in your business, they're missing to your name, and we know where we want to put them. It's just a question of finding the name.
Tweak it still. So yeah. So if you optimize your name, can you just use the name, or do you have to change it, or legally, or what happens there?
So what I'm doing now is I'm testing the name that I've optimized. So I'm testing it. I'm not going to change it straight away. I'm testing it online. I'm testing it when I'm introducing myself to people. You know, I realize on this screen it still says Valerie Wash. I should have put Vahl Akma Wash, but it doesn't really matter. So as long as you use it and your intention is to use this name as your name, great. If you can have it changed by default, even better, because then that's where it's going to be written on your passport, on your bills, on your bank account. Any legal document that will come your way will be with this new name. So the vibration will really take a deeper meaning.
So that's the vibration and frequency of something.
Yeah.
And that's where energy, everything's vibration and frequency. So yeah. Makes sense. Okay. It's quite a lot to take in, isn't it? But I mean, I've been through this journey with you. Luckily, I've done this. So.
Well, yeah, but you've not done that in 5 minutes. You've done the birth name and then the overlay. And then...
Yeah, so this is quite a lot to take in, but I've really enjoyed going on that journey. It's been quite exciting. And seeing where I need to tweak things and stuff that I've overcome already. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, really what I do, if I want to go back to this chart, if we look at this, when I do a name optimization, changing one letter will change one number and it will change the whole chart. So that's what we do when we get really close to the right name. I just go and I count things and I'm like, okay, what letter can I put an H? Can I put a Y in? How can I tweak this? So it's really, Nicholas, my trainer, would say black magic, but I don't like to think it's black magic. I think it's great magic. You know, we can optimize someone's name so that their life is easier and more manageable. So I think it's a blessing, really. It's an art.
So Pam has just put, as she said on the WhatsApp, the reading was a life changer into understanding herself and her purpose and everything. So yeah, I'll agree with that too.
It's usually easier to tell someone rather than seeing it for yourself.
Yeah.
Can I say, mine last week and it was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. And as I said earlier, it went along with what Christine Chalklin told me and her partner numerology. It all sort of fitted in. And with the change thing, with my website, all we took out was the www and then it became okay. And with my email address, I'm going to be adding 4 in letters, and that makes it okay. So it
can be the number. It can be the number.
Yeah. So
the only thing that matters is the way you pronounce it. So it can be Karen 4 with the 4. It doesn't have to be written 4.
Yeah.
It's how you pronounce it that matters.
Yeah, and it's a small change, and that makes the difference. I found it absolutely fascinating what came up, and mine was just a triangle for anyone who's just got a triangle. But that was interesting in itself because my first name was very short, my maiden name. My first married name was very short, and actually my second married name's much better. So something's changed along the way.
And you've actually changed it before getting married then. That's even more fun.
I did. I changed it by default years ago because I didn't like my first married name anymore. So it changed on all my documents. And I never, I didn't particularly like the married name. Not, I just didn't particularly like it. The maiden name I never liked. It just never, maybe it's a thing, it doesn't fit with you somehow. I never liked it. I don't know.
But that's why you intuitively change your name and for a name that is more beneficial to you.
Yeah. One question I was going to ask you, well, 2 questions actually, if it's okay.
Yeah.
My daughter put her name in your chart. Now, her name's Natasha, but it's spelt actually the French or Russian way. So it has a C.
It's not a problem. So there's enough leeway in the software to accommodate slight changes. So Irish accent, Scottish accent will be fine, as well on the software.
Okay.
It's only the pure European or Latin or Asian names that would not work. But if it's just spelled differently, it's fine.
Okay, that's fine. And one other quick question, and let other people speak. Sorry, but so say you go by a nickname, or I know a lot of people who have 2 names, but they always go by their first name rather than their middle name. Does that make a difference? Would you put it the other way around, or?
So a nickname is a way to limit, unfortunately, your vibration, your life, because you'll probably most likely end up with just a 1 triangle. So
Right.
it will limit what you can achieve with your name. What was your other question?
So I know a lot of people who have like 2 names, but they use their middle name more predominantly and don't really use
the first name.
So does
that's because intuitively they know the first name is not correct and is harder. And they go with the second name, with the middle name, because it's softer to them.
Right.
And they can feel it intuitively. Sometimes they can't explain. And some people will get their family to call them a complete different name that has nothing to do for a couple of years, simply because they can't cope with their birth name. So it's a coping mechanism. They're not aware they're doing it, but they're doing it. And also, I mean, we mustn't forget that rabbis would advise people to change their name if they're going through a really, really rough patch. So it's not something that uncommon. It's not just hippies who change their names. It's something that's widely done, and not just by hippies wearing sandals.
Okay.
I'm not a hippie wearing sandal.
So if it's sorry, Karen, go on.
No, just a thank you. It's fine. Go ahead.
If a nickname, for example, it couldn't optimize, no?
A nickname could be an optimization, but
a lot of people call me Suze.
Yeah, but again, that's going to limit. Possibly.
Okay. And sometimes I guess your nicknames are given to you by someone else as well. It's not yours then, is it?
It's not your choice most of the time. You don't you don't call yourself with a nickname. Unless you really hate your first name, and that's where you make a conscious decision to change your name with the nickname.
Yeah, but that's got to be their choice and not what someone else has imprinted almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that your shortened name might be better if you looked at the chart. It could be.
It could be on some names, and on some of the readings that I've done for you guys. Actually, the short name is not such a bad thing, because it brings a different vibration. But I think, you know, having the same in the spiritual aspect and the physical aspect is a waste of numbers. You could have 3 other numbers that you're playing with, and you're only having the 3 instead of the 6 or the 7 if you have when you have a soul destiny. So it's a bit of a waste of a number.
Yeah.
Or a vibration.
Yeah, I get that. Thank you. Anyone else? As I keep talking, very aware of that.
And me.
Anyone else have any questions? All as clear as mud.
Hopefully.
So that was brilliant.
I hope it made sense to everyone.
Yeah.
And,
Anything you want to add?
No, I hope you go back to the recording and think about it again and have a look at your chart. And
have you got a website address or an email or something that you could put in the WhatsApp group?
I can put it, yeah, I've just got an email address. I don't know if the saying is applicable, but usually you're the worse off, you know, when you're the practitioner. So I'm yet to work out my business name and my website, and
doing everyone else's.
Yeah, I'm doing everyone else. You know, that's always the case. You know, you're very good with others, but with yourself, whoa, bye. So it's not done yet. It will be eventually. But my email address, I'll put it in the chat. Yeah, it's wash77@gmail.com.
Would it be possible to send the presentation if you're happy to do so?
Yeah,
that would be great. Thank you.
Oh, well, the actual slides.
Yeah, the slides, because then we can look at it and
and not have to listen to the recording again. Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Will you send us all the recording anyway? Because I think it'd be really cool to hear it all again, because obviously you don't take it all in first time round, do you?
You never do, yeah.
It is quite a lot to take in, and there is Nicholas's book as well. But for me, I had Nicholas's book, and I had my soul contract reading done quite a few years ago by somebody else, and I didn't really take it in fully, and I got the book and I wasn't able to decode it well enough, and it only really came to life and made sense when I went to have a reading with Valerie. So, and then I was able to ask questions and, you know, really get into the kind of nitty-gritty of looking at it. And I've looked at it with all of my family and where the clashes are and what we need to learn together, or it was just really interesting to go through it like that. I've had my astrology chart done and numerology and stuff, and again, like Karen said, it kind of all fits together and adds all the extra kind of bits and pieces. So it's really clever.
Definitely.
It's quite good, isn't it? Because it's a bit like somebody interpreting for you. So although you can see it on a piece of paper or in a book, you can't always interpret it. But if you've got somebody telling you, like Valerie does, it interprets it for you, so you can understand it much better.
Yeah, but we get the transmission. I mean, I've done 4 trainings with Nicholas. So you do 5 days of level 1, where you get a transmission of all the numbers, and that's 5 days non-stop, 8 hours. Then there's level 2 for the overlays. I've done level 3, which is the business one, and the level 4, which is an optional one for phonetics, because as such, this is 4 days worth of trying and understanding the phonetics. And I've got countless phonetics dictionaries. It's a minefield, because the slightest mispronunciation or mistake will trigger a wrong chart. So
yeah,
it's a couple of hours of learning and playing and trying, but I find it fascinating myself.
And I think if you've got, so for me, when I was looking at it without, as in separate parts, and you've got something in karma, it's a bit like, oh, that looks a bit depressing. But then when I was able to read it with you and you could see that I'd transmuted some of it through my physical talents or my spiritual talents, then it kind of ties it all together, and then the destiny in the middle, what I need to learn. So
Yeah,
that was interesting. Whereas when I was looking at it separately, you don't always see how you've kind of grown.
yes, there's the whole journey that's involved with it.
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff on your chart, just reading it in separate parts, you've already kind of grown through and learned the lessons already. But yeah, you'd have to look at it properly.
But yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, to look at the overlay with your partner, with your children as well, and help your children where they need the help. I found that it was a blessing with my daughter, because she's full of nines and she's full of frustration and anger. So phase little thing, full of 9 as well. But it gives you tools as well, because when I do reading, at the end of the reading, or for every number, I give you recommendations on how to work through the karmic aspect of each number. And you don't always transmute the karma first. Sometimes you transmute the goal first, or sometimes the talent is the last one that really is the one that shines the last. And you're thinking, really, it's about time. So we're not all equal, we're not all the same. And the reading enables me to see where you are in your journey at the specific time.
That's brilliant. Thank you. So I think if there's no other questions, thank you very much, Valerie. That must have been tiring. That's a real lot of information for you to get out there, and all the technical problems at the beginning. I'm really grateful that you've managed to help people with that. So yeah, that's another load of information that we can all go away and assimilate and spend hours poring over, and then go, I need to go and see Valerie. I would highly recommend Valerie. Lots of us here have had a reading.
Definitely go and see Valerie. She'll give you more information, and if you've had more than one name, it sort of makes sense, and all of so definitely go see Valerie.
So it's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Also, if you just don't want to keep repeating going out with terrible people. Seriously.
I was actually thinking about you when I made the comments about the relationships. I was like, oh my God.
You got to listen.
14-5s. No more 14-5s.
So before you go on a date, you want their numbers.
Yeah.
So that's one good thing. If you can get their birth name before a date, or after the first or second date, and you can say that it's something that you're interested in and everything. I mean, I'm not dating, but I'll bloody try it when I'm, when we're out in the open again and allowed to go out.
I guess again that they could have transmuted some of their karma already.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be aiming for a 17-year-old boy. Yeah. Past this age. So the older, the more transmute. Yeah.
Done the journey a little bit, haven't they? So yeah. Oh, that's great. Thank you very much. That's brilliant.
Thank you. I hope I didn't freeze or burn your brains.
No, it was good. Just got past a few technical hitches at the beginning, but that's absolutely fine. It's just quite complicated, I think, trying to work out a computer system, how to get your chart. I mean, I was trying to get mine as well, and then realized I'd already had one, so sneakily asked you to send it again. So but we got there, so thank you for doing that at the beginning. It's really kind of you to give away this information as well, really. And we'll see.
Well, like I said, it's all in Nicholas's book.
Yeah, but I've got the book, and that's quite hard to understand without some of the explanation around it, and it's in separate bits again. So it's like that rounded conversation is a much better way of looking at it. So yeah, thank you very much. So we'll be back here again in 2 weeks, and it's actually going to be me next time, because I haven't actually done a talk. Karen's been moaning at me, isn't it about time you did one?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been running for nearly a year, so I guess it's my turn.
Time, yeah.
So I'm going to be talking about body talk and how I combine all my therapies together, and how I run groups to help people grow in their own skills with the therapies that they do, and as kind of add on to what people need depending on what I've got in my group, if it's something I can help people that I learn and then share. So that's next time. So we'll see you all in 2 weeks. If you've got any other questions, just pop them in the WhatsApp chat for Valerie, because we'll leave it for talking about sole contracts for now, and I'll pop my details up in a kind of week and a half, something like that. All right, thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you very much.
See
See you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Valerie.